is gonna be a really cool episode. We have a lot of cookbooks at home or no? Yes? We're doing our own little cookbook club here in Seattle today. I remember my very first cookbook. This is it, my very, very first cookbook. This is Jamie Oliver's cookbook. It blew my mind. I wanted to make for you guys for our first bite, the very first thing I made in any cookbook. This is spaghetti a la Oliver. So really simple. So a great trick is when you put pasta in the water, not just plop it in there because it kind of sticks together. Has that ever happened to you guys? Yeah? So I kind of take the top with my thumb and finger, twist the bottom kind of like this, and then let go, and they kind of spread out. I'll take a standing O for that. I'll take a standing O for that. Cookbooks, I kind of feel like, are like friends. Everyone's always like, why do I need a cookbook? It's the internet now. But when you buy a cookbook, I don't know if you guys are music lovers, it's literally like you just bring them along with you, and they're in your house, and there's something about it. They're so back in such a big way, which I love. So the pasta is boiling away. We've got a pan here, and I'm gonna go with a lot of olive oil. The olive oil is kind of the base of this sauce, so really, really good olive oil. And then, any anchovy fans? Ish, I know, I heard a little bit of hesitation there. Whenever I used to bring out the anchovies, my wife would be like, Joel, please don't. Just stop with the anchovies. They're so good for you, and it's kind of like a Caesar salad. You don't know they're there, but they're working their magic, baby. And they just give this umami and this richness to everything. So you could go with one, you could go with two. I'm going with the whole thing. Throw that out there. We've got a little bit of garlic, so you just kind of slice it thin like this. If you can't go this thin, or this fast, don't worry about it. You can just take your time. Have you guys ever seen The Godfather where he takes the razor blade? Don't do that. So we just kind of slice this into little coins, pick these puppies up, and they go right into the anchovy. And you just kind of bring that up, and we're gonna let that kind of start to melt. And the last thing, but chili is a really good thing to note, is to get a lot of the seeds out, you can kind of roll on it with your hand like this, and it loosens all the seeds. And then you can kind of knock out the back and just kind of shake them all out. Right? And that kind of helps you get them. And the same thing with this. I don't want like a big chili hit. I just want like little, shards of chili kissing me with a little bit of heat. All right? So chili's in, garlic in, and this is the base to this sauce. And so we're gonna let this cook for a second, and I promised you guys that we were gonna bring in some amazing cookbook authors, and sitting next to me is not only an amazing cookbook author, she's also the culinary producer of this show. So if you think all this food looks good, it's not me doing it, it's Ashley Rodriguez. Give it up for Ashley. Ashley, how many cookbooks have you written to date at this point?
3. Just
3
released my
books,
3rd.
Guys. She also has 3 kids, like it's nuts. So at this point, when you kind of hear the water hiss at you a little bit, you can kind of take off the lid. The anchovy, it kind of melted. How insane does it smell in the studio right now? It's crazy, crazy. I'm gonna take a little lemon zest. This just kind of brightens it. So I just take the end of the lemon, just the yellow part. I wanna just smack that in there. And that just starts to like bloom in the oil and flavor the oil, and it's just so simple. Now, I did season 1 of this show. I was a little bit fuller. I'll go with fuller. I was a little heavier. I lost 50 pounds in the last year. I'm trying not to slip. And a big part of that is I love pasta. I love eating like this. Like I could do it every day. But if you kind of cut half of it with vegetables, you kind of don't know the difference. And you're getting those veg, and you're kind of cutting back on the carbies. So I do this kind of thing, spiralizing. This is the KitchenAid mixer, and it has this attachment, which I'm in love with. Have you guys ever seen this before? Does everyone have a KitchenAid mixer? Love the KitchenAid. So you just turn this on and check this out. And it just gives you these beautiful noodles. You guys can see it. It's like Rapunzel's hair. I love it. So you don't have to spiralize just zucchini. I do carrots, I do bell peppers. But whenever you kind of want that noodle vibe and you just want to give that twirl on the fork, I love that. So at this point, the sauce is kind of done. Like the oil is infused. I'm gonna squeeze a little lemon in there. And then this was a big lesson for me is you have to cook your pasta in the sauce. You can't just dump the sauce on top. It doesn't do it justice. You want that pasta kind of like drink the sauce. So you literally take it from the water, and it's okay if there's a lot of that little salty water going on top. That's gonna kind of season it, and we're kind of cooking it al dente here, so it has a little bit of a bite. And then I'm gonna hit that. I'm gonna grab a handful of my zoodles, Okay, these are Lady and the Tramp. I don't know how I'm ever, look at this. What is going on here? I will never finish that, so just rip it. That goes in. And then Ashley grew some arugula.
Yeah.
This is like
I'm
the
pretty proud of
spicy
it.
bomb arugula. Yeah, look at this. So you just kind of cook this, and you just kind of bring it together. Yeah, and it just kind of wilts at the last second. You barely want to cook that zucchini because it kind of gets too soft. And then you take it to a plate. Look how beautiful this looks. It's green, it's spring, it's bright, and then some Parmesan cheese. And you just kind of go over the top. I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping. Guys, there you have it. Pasta alla Oliver, the very first thing I made out of a cookbook. Give that to you. I love it. I love it. I don't know if you guys know this, but cookbook clubs, I kind of mentioned it earlier, they're back, baby. That means people all over the country are gathering, they're choosing a book, they're getting together, and they're cooking different courses, creating amazing community. We caught up with one right here in Seattle. Take a look at this.
I really love cookbooks. I probably have about 70 of them. It's a little bit of a problem. I am the weirdo in the group who is always reading them like front to back. And everyone makes fun of me for that. But I just love the inspiration because you can definitely end up in a rut.
Cookbook Club, it kind of keeps the joy in cooking. And I love good food, so having other people who also enjoy that and can appreciate it, it kind of all comes together.
There's a different host every month. That host gets to pick the cookbook author. We all bring something and enjoy it together. We bring out our cookbooks, look at our notes. It's really about sharing what we learned from making that recipe. We're fine making mistakes. We're fine substituting things, kind of talking about our challenges and our wins. It's great.
I love the community that comes with enjoying food, making food with other people. It gets me outside of my cooking rut that sometimes I get into. It's a good group of ladies who I really like.
You guys, my heart.
I think we all love Cookbook Club because it's just an excuse to get together and we just bond over all the recipes, the good food, beautiful cookbooks. It's a super fun time.
We have a legend of cookbooks in the house, New York Times bestselling author. He has won multiple James Beard Awards. He just came out with his first podcast, Seattle's Owned. Our fave, our guy, Kenji Lopez-Alt. As you know, this is the cookbook episode. You've written multiple cookbooks, but what was the first cookbook you got? Do you remember?
The first cookbook I got was Jacques Pepin's La Technique.
Oh yeah.
So it's a cookbook that I think of it almost as like a cooking video, like a TikTok video before they existed, because it's a cookbook that's a series of hands-only instructions on how to do how to chop an onion, how to turn a mushroom into a clown. You know, the classic techniques that you use all the time. But that was the first book that I got that really showed sort of all the classic techniques. And I remember getting that book. This was before I became before I was cooking professionally. I became a cook as a summer job.
Okay.
And the end of that summer, I went on a trip with my family to Mexico. I brought this book with me, and I used to bring it with me to the beach. So my family was out there like swimming. I was like reading this book on like how to chop an onion.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that. Yeah, that's amazing. And then I know that years later, he actually got a chance to meet Jacques.
I met him a few times. He came into a restaurant I was working at once. He's the nicest guy, and just kind of a born teacher.
Yes.
So he came into the restaurant I was working at once. My chef came and asked me, he knew I was a big fan, came and asked me if I wanted to come out and meet him. I said, sure, and like nervously went and talked to him. And then we talked a little bit, I made some pomme souffle. You know pomme souffle, right?
Totally.
So
It's a potato souffle,
Yeah, like puffy potato chips, essentially. Difficult to do.
Very difficult.
And I told him, I served him pomme souffle, and I told him, I cooked about 200% more than I needed because I was worried that most of them wouldn't work.
It sounds very Kenji. Yes, yeah.
And so he sat down and showed me how to cut the potatoes so that they would get a better success rate.
He was like there for dinner and just
and he told me and he showed me like how you can look inside a potato and see before you even cut it whether it's going to work for pomme souffle or not. Like he's the nicest, sweetest guy, born teacher.
Yes. He's like you. Jacques, if you're out there, mwah, we love you. All right, for our next bite, we're doing two just classics from your cookbooks.
Yes.
These are legendaries. We're doing Mapo Tofu.
Mapo Tofu, we're doing the Japanese version of it.
I'm excited about it. And then we're doing smashed cucumber salad. So give it up for that.
So the classic Sichuan dish is called smashed cucumber. It's called smashed cucumber because we're gonna smash it.
Okay.
You want to do it?
Yes, I want to do it. Yes.
I want you to go along the rest of the way.
Legitimately
really,
smash it.
Really smash it.
This side?
Yeah.
Okay.
That side. There we go. So I give it one more good whack in the middle there.
Good. Yeah.
So it kind of breaks up into pieces like that, and then you can just go across.
Wow.
Right. And it gives you this texture that kind of absorbs your dressing.
Yeah, it kind of opens it up to drink
exactly.
it.
So we're just going to put that straight into our bowl.
Okay. Okay.
Little red onion here.
Yep.
So
Simple.
pretty thin sliced red onion.
I love it.
Peanuts also.
Okay, same pan?
Yeah, go for it.
And just like kind of like one of these?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of weight on these peanuts. I can do this. Okay.
So I've got my cucumbers, I've got my onions, we've got a little vinegar. This is just white vinegar. Yeah, you can go in there with your peanuts.
Cool.
I do dill here. You could also do cilantro. You could do basil. Mint would be great. Yeah. Or you could do a mix of all those things.
Okay.
Do a little bit of olive oil.
This looks beautiful.
And so finally, to plate this up, we're going to take a little bit of yogurt.
Yeah.
This combination in particular, yogurt and chili oil, I really love. It works great on this cucumber salad. I think it also works great if you make something like a lamb meatball, or if you have like dumplings,
Yes.
something even like a pierogi with yogurt and chili oil. I think is delicious.
This looks beautiful.
All right, so we're gonna just finish this off now with a little bit of chili oil. So I've got some homemade chili oil here.
Are you kidding me? That's beautiful. All right, so we have this smashed cucumber salad, super easy to put together. Now we're making this Mapo Tofu.
Yeah, so Mapo Tofu is actually a dish that's originally, it's a Sichuan dish from Sichuan province in China. The version we're making today is actually the Japanese version. So this is the version I grew up with. In the 70s, Chen Kenichi, Iron Chef Chen Kenichi, he brought Mapo Tofu over to Japan from China and introduced it to Japan, and it got adopted to the Japanese taste.
I love it. What's first step?
We got our wok hot. We're gonna start by just cooking some ground beef in there.
Ground beef. And with wok, right, you want it insanely hot, right?
Well, that idea got started because a lot of us, especially in the West, our experience with wok cooking comes from Chinese restaurants, right? And in restaurants, yeah, you often will have, especially Cantonese-style restaurants, you'll have very, very high heat.
Because you have to bust it out, save up, yeah.
Not so much the case with home cooking, though. With home cooking, you don't really need high heat. All right, so we got our beef in there. We're gonna go in with our aromatics now.
Okay.
So that's just some minced ginger.
Okay. And garlic. I'm kind of
garlic.
glad you're not going with the Szechuan peppercorn. Have you guys ever had one before? The first time I had one, I thought I was having a stroke. Like, you literally, like, it tingles your whole mouth. And I had to call the doctor. I literally was nervous. It has a very weird effect.
It kind of numbs your mouth.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent feeling of if you place a metal rod that is vibrating in your mouth at 50 hertz.
Because we all do that. We all know what that feels like.
All right, so we got our aromatics in there. Now we're gonna go in with our seasonings. So we got some sake.
Yes.
We've got some mirin. So this is like a sweet rice wine. And then we've got shoyu. So this is Japanese
So good.
soy sauce.
This wok, how long have you had this?
I got this. This was the first pan that I bought for myself when I was in college. So after that summer, my first summer cooking, so I was 20 years old, 19 years old.
How
maybe.
cool is
So
that?
It's actually now I'm almost 25 years old now. All right, so now I'm going to finish this off with a little bit of a cornstarch slurry here. So I've just got cornstarch, a little bit of water.
This is to thicken it, right? To give it a little body.
Exactly, just to give it a little bit of body. You know, and in the original version, the Sichuan version, which has a lot of oil, you know, a lot of chili oil in it, this will also help emulsify some of that oil into the sauce so that it doesn't like stay as a completely greasy slick on top, you know? All right, so just a little bit of cornstarch, a little bit of chicken stock,
So easy.
and then we're gonna finish it off with the tofu.
And this is not just like firm tofu, or what kind of tofu?
So the tofu I use is firm silken tofu.
Okay.
So it can sometimes can be difficult to find that because what you'll find, especially in the West, is that sometimes the thing is labeled silken, it'll automatically be soft. Whereas, so you know, tofu comes in silken and sort of cottony varieties, and that comes down to the method that they're made and the type of coagulant used.
Okay.
So the cottony varieties are made more like a traditional cheese, where you collect the curds and then you press them into a block. Silken style are made in the container that they're sold in, so they add a coagulant and they just set like that, and that's why they have that really fine texture. So I like to look for firm silken tofu for this. If you can't find it, you can use a regular soft tofu as well.
I love it. And then do we finish it off with this? This smells outrageous,
this is
by the way.
basically the finished dish.
Outrageous. Wait, it's done? That's it?
That's it. Yeah,
that's
yeah. So we're gonna finish it. We're gonna put it into the serving bowl.
Oh my
And then we'll
gosh.
just garnish it up a little bit. And this is also one of those dishes where you know people in the West tend to think of tofu as a meat replacement, as a meat substitute. Whereas, I grew up eating this, so it's meat and tofu in the same dish.
Yeah.
And so, for me, tofu is always sort of a texture and a flavor unto its own. And I think this is a really good way to appreciate that.
But I love the idea that the meat's almost just a seasoning. It's not the center of the plate.
Yeah.
Like, it's giving something to the plate. It's giving this unctuousness to it. And that's how, honestly, I'm trying to eat more like that anyways, to think of the meat as a garnish.
Exactly. And in fact, this is a great, if you're vegan or vegetarian, you can either use like finely chopped mushrooms, or you can use any one of those meat substitutes impossible beyond something like that. And this dish is great.
Super smart.
Yeah. So we're just going to finish it off also with a little bit of that same chili oil.
Come on, dude. You kill me. You kill me every time. Look at that. That looks amazing. Look at that. Kenji's Mapo Tofu.
My mom's Mapo Tofu. I'd say this is my mom's interpretation, my interpretation of my mom's interpretation of Chen Kenichi's version of Sichuan Mapo Tofu.
He's got to give credit to everyone who had a little hand in that. So I'm gonna dole out some rice. By the way, have you seen this guy before?
I have not. No.
Okay, this is the KitchenAid rice and grain cooker. What I'm obsessed with this, I don't know, do you still get nervous cooking rice or no?
No, I just use one of the old school push the button and
I get nervous. I've made it a million times, but this thing you don't have to even weigh. You just like put a bowl in your rice or a mug and just collect it. It senses it and just dispenses water, holds it warm, and it can do farro, lentils. This thing kicks butt.
I'd worry that if I used that, I'd never be able to cook rice regularly.
You won't. Yeah, you don't need to.
Just have to carry it with me.
I love
everywhere.
it. So I'll spoon this out. I did want to ask you a question, and you came out with a podcast with Deb from Smitten Kitchen.
Yeah,
You went-
Deb Perlman.
Deb Perlman, yeah. Unbelievable. Get some love to Smitten Kitchen.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
This podcast is obviously making waves because you got just two heavyweights in the food world. You guys are amazing together.
Oh, thanks.
Tell us a little bit about it.
It's called The Recipe with Kenji and Deb, and it's about the process of recipe development. So in each episode, we discuss one recipe that we've both come up with our own version of. And what we find is that she and I, we have the same goal to help home cooks feel comfortable in the kitchen, but we always end up with very different recipes at the end.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah, so the podcast is talking about why that happens, what goes into the process of recipe development. And the idea is that by listening to this, you understand what recipe writers are thinking about when they're looking at recipes, and I think that will make it easier to follow recipes and also make it easier to sort of adapt the recipes to your own tastes. So
Give it up for Kenji. I love it. All right, my man.
all right.
Let's give this a little taste. By the way, this is my first Mapo Tofu ever.
Mapo Tofu ever,
Yeah.
wow, okay.
Yeah, first ever. All right, let's try. Dude, are you kidding me?
It's got that like sweet and savory.
You know what it has, besides the fact that it's so well balanced? It has that thing, when you eat a dish where you're like, I could eat that every day. Like, I want to eat this for lunch. I want to eat it cold. I want to eat it for a dinner on a Sunday. Like, so freaking delicious. Incredible, dude. Incredible. Guys, a buddy of the show, a buddy to all of us home cooks in the world, one last ups for our boy, Kenji Lopez-Alt. Thanks, buddy. You are the best. You are the best. So speaking of home-cooked meals, we're following you guys at home in a special series that we're calling the Sunday Dinner Series. So watch this.
We all enjoy each other's foods in different ways.
I like that, though.
I'm Elizabeth Gibson. I'm the owner-landlord.
I'm Sandra Victorino, and I live in the second floor.
We live in the big blue house.
With the Christmas tree.
The tree is up permanently because we couldn't figure out how to collapse it.
I've been here for 12 years.
Yeah.
My niece, that's 26, and my great-nephew, that's 4 years old, lives with my husband and I. You smash up your avocado.
I decided to start like what I called like a house dinner and try to do it once a month. Traditionally, first floor did dessert, second floor did the apps, and I did the mains. This is the best thing we ever did.
I learned how to make my mom's traditional foods. I'm making guacamole.
Oh, that looks so good.
Yeah.
The color's beautiful.
Yeah. It's easy to make a guacamole. It's easy to make a ceviche or certain things that fit with us, and then you bring it in and it's a nice little mesh. Yeah.
And it's always delicious and it's always wonderful. I read cookbooks extensively in my life. I just would go to the bookstore and sit down and just read cookbooks with a cup of coffee.
How's it going upstairs?
We have made the Greek salad. I'm ready to put the pesto together, throw the tortellini in.
You never feel the pressure of having to do something that's huge. So you can just be yourself and you bring yourself.
I grew up in a family that was food-oriented. Food was very social. We always had the big Sunday dinners. I just always like to entertain and cook and have people over.
The community that they create, there's love in our house. The neighbors right next door that now come over.
Hi, how's it going?
It's cucumber and lime. When we're together, we're
Yeah.
eating,
It's social.
drinking.
Thank you, Mom. You're welcome.
I've always had this idea that life could look like this and be this way. Emotional connection and existence.
Cheers to friends and neighborhoods.
We are celebrating all things cookbooks today, and even a cocktail cookbook. This one is one of our favorites. It is so easy. You wanna whip this one up with me?
Yes, I do.
All right, let's get Ashley up here. Do this one with me. So this one's called The Gold Rush, and what's the cookbook that it's from?
The 3-ingredient cocktail cookbook.
It has this little shaved ice situation. KitchenAid makes this attachment where you can just put in these little pucks of ice that you can make at home and just slide them in. I'm a snow cone, like if I'm at a circus, I beeline for the snow cones. Like I love anything with the texture, and you just kind of slide it in and just.
Look at that. It's so good. Yeah. I love it.
Amazing. I love that. Look at this, fluffy, fluffy.
So beautiful.
Isn't that awesome? You would try and do that by hand, never get there, never get there. All right, so how do we build this?
All right, let's start by filling our glasses
Okay.
with some of this perfect shaved ice.
I feel like you want to overfill it.
Yes, absolutely. Like that snow cone, like
Yeah,
it's
like
rounded
get it
on the
really
top.
high up.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
Then we're gonna add 2 ounces of bourbon. Then we have a rich honey syrup, which is equal parts honey to water. Just bring it to a gentle
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
simmer.
cool, easy.
So 3/4 ounce goes in there. Freshly squeezed lemon juice in there.
Good old shaky poo.
Ready?
Good? Yeah, you shake it.
You want me to do it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah! All right, all right.
Okay, and then we're gonna just make ourselves a little fun little snow cone.
Ugh,
For that
a
red.
bougie snow cone?
Yeah. Oh my
All day,
gosh.
every freaking
Look
day.
at- Oh yeah. that
Dear
is-
Lord.
That is pretty.
Do you spoon this or straw this?
Oh
What
my
do
gosh,
do?
you could do either.
Yeah, just face plant it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
what it is. This looks
All right,
amazing.
Look at that. That is the slushy I want.
And then a
okay,
little lemon
and then
floater?
we'll finish with a little lemon, give it a little twist, and then we can just fancy that up right on the rim, just
Look
like
at what you do.
that.
Make it look all cute. Look at that. Love it. Cheers. Well, this is a great final toast to cookbook authors like Ashley and Kenji that inspire us, that kind of get us in the kitchen, that get us going. And a cookbook is a starting point. You make it your own. The kitchen is your place to explore, to express yourself. So to all the cookbook clubs, to all the cookbook writers, to everyone who's just cookbook curious, this is a cheers to you. See you guys.